guys, this is my chimichurri steak bowls. It's quick, simple, and tasty. I think you guys are going to love this one. We're going to start off by preparing 2 boxes of long grain wild rice. You could substitute white rice, brown rice, or quinoa if you want to. I just really enjoy the taste and texture that long grain wild rice brings to the table. So I'm just going to start off by following the package directions, mixing water and oil, adding my rice and the seasoning mix, and putting a lid on it and bringing it up to a boil. This rice takes about half an hour to cook, so we want this to go ahead and get started while we work on the other things. We're going to start off making the chimichurri sauce, which is really what brings a ton of flavor and makes this dish really pop. So as you can see, I've got salt, pepper, garlic, red wine vinegar, olive oil, cilantro, and a lime. I know some people are not fans of cilantro. Some people have that gene that just makes it taste terrible, and that's okay. There are lots of things you can substitute in this dish. My personal recommendation would be parsley. Parsley has a really grassy flavor to it that's going to pair very well with the rice and the beef. So keep the measurements the same and just use parsley instead of cilantro. So we're going to start off by adding 1.5 bunches of cilantro into our food processor or blender, whatever you have. We're going to add about 4 tablespoons of olive oil to that, and then 3 large cloves of garlic. I have pre-chopped garlic, but I think this is about 3 large cloves. And then we're going to add all of the juice of our lime into this dish. Fresh lime juice really is the best here, but if you don't have it, you can do 2 tablespoons of the lime juice you buy at the store in the little bottles, and that'll be just fine. To that, we are also going to add in about a half a teaspoon of pepper and a half a teaspoon of salt. And then we're going to follow that up with 2 teaspoons of red wine vinegar. Now that all of our ingredients are in our food processor, we are just going to process this until it reaches the texture of a pesto sauce. So along the way, you may discover that your sauce is a little thick and you may need to add just a little bit more oil. I recommend 1 tablespoon at a time until you get a really thick yet saucy consistency. We're looking for something that we can kind of pour over, but it's going to coat the steak and the rice when we get ready to serve our final dish. And here is what your final sauce should look like. It's going to be thick, it's going to have some texture to it, but as you can see, I can pour it and I can shred it. It looks just like an Italian pesto sauce. All right, now it is time to get to work on our steak. I have an almost 2-pound sirloin steak that I picked up at my store. You can use sirloin, you can use New York strip, you can use ribeye if you want. It's up to you, the choice is yours. If you really wanted to, you could even substitute shrimp in here and it would taste fantastic. So I like to leave my steak on the counter for about 15 or 20 minutes to let it start to come up to room temperature. and then I pull it out of my package and I go ahead and dry it off. I want to try to get as much moisture off the top of the steak as I can. I follow that up by seasoning the steak, and I'm pretty liberal with this. You really need a lot of good seasoning, especially salt, on the outside of your steak, so when we get ready to cook it, it'll form a nice thick crust, and that crust is where a lot of great flavor is. So here I am just putting some salt, some fresh ground black pepper, and some garlic powder on the steak, and that is it, guys. That's all we need. All right, now that our steak is seasoned well, we're going to bring it over to a preheated cast iron skillet. Now, I like to let my cast iron get just screaming hot. You really, really want to be able to see some smoke coming off of it. Get it really, really hot, guys, because that heat is what forms an amazing sear, and the sear is where the flavor is. So I put just a tiny bit of oil in the bottom of my skillet, and I place my steak inside the pan, and we're going to leave it here for 5 minutes per side. You can watch as it cooks, and you're going to see a lot of smoke start to come up, but don't touch it. We really want to let that crust form. So it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and flip the steak over, and look at that crust, guys. We've got a great sear, and we have got so much flavor built up on the outside of this steak. So we're going to let it cook for another 5 minutes on the other side. All right, so it's been 5 minutes per side, and we have a beautiful sear. We have some beautiful flavor, but now we need to focus on getting the steak cooked to the doneness level that we want. Everybody's different, so you're going to want to cook this to whatever taste you have. For me personally, I am looking for a medium rare inside the steak. So I'm going to continue to cook it and flip it every 2 minutes until I feel like it has gotten to the point that I want. All right, now that our steak has reached the doneness that we want, we're going to put it on a cutting board and cover it with foil so that we can let it rest for a good 10 minutes. That way the juices redistribute back within the meat. We're going to pop over and check on our rice now. As you can see, it is completely done. We're going to fluff it and make sure that there's no liquid left in the bottom. And then go ahead and put the lid back on because we want this to stay nice and warm while we finish prepping our steak. All right, our steak has been resting for 10 minutes, and now it's time for us to go ahead and carve this and get it ready for our dish. Now my steak is really large, so I'm going to go ahead and start by slicing it in half first. And while we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at the inside. Look at that perfect medium rare. Doesn't that look delicious? This is going to be one tender and juicy steak, guys. So now we want to start forming thin slices against the grain. By carving this against the grain, we're going to break down the meat fibers and make this so tender and easy to chew. It's going to practically melt in your mouth. All right, now that everything is done cooking, it is time to assemble our dish. So the chimichurri steak bowls start off with a bed of rice at the bottom of the plate. To that, we're going to add some of our tender, juicy, delicious steak strips, and we're going to top it all off with this delicious chimichurri sauce that we made. Guys, take a look at this. There's color, there's flavor, there's texture. This is really a great meal, and it comes together so quickly. Give it a try because I just know you guys are going to absolutely love this one. And that's it. Here's our finished dish. All right, guys, try it at home. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like the video. Subscribe for more. I have tons of great ideas coming your way soon, guys. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.